The nation is being tested through this whole series of events that come from the first initial violence. And the huge question is, how do people take the cops? Are the cops out of line? Do they use excessive force? Is this another instance of total unfairness? Is it another instance of racial strife? Well, there's a little bit of that going on, but is this being manipulated from behind the scenes by shadowy political forces that benefit from this kind of thing? Divide and conquer. Is this whole thing being drummed up? Is the whole thing being dragged on just without end? Well, the end is going to come soon because the grand jury is going to have a verdict, and they're having a lot of secret discussions, looking at evidence, looking at, well, if you say this, what the outcome's going to be. So this is how justice happens in America. Grand jury is going to come out and see how they have decided to deal with this. What is going to be done with the officer? Now, I don't really have to get into all the details to tell you actually what's going on. There's more confusion in the human race. There are no races when it comes down to it. There's unity. There's humanity. It's one race. To look at things according to skin color, or what part of the world you're from, under what national government you're born, where your birth certificate comes out of, or where your parents' nationalities are, or the ethnicities. There's different submixtures within every nationality, and then there's different, ethnicities that come from former nations. So all this kind of thing, going into the mix. There's several hundred major ways to cut it, from like the scientific major way of saying that there's Mongoloid, there's Caucasian, there's Negroid, Lloyd, Royd, and Jin. Is that really how many basic races there are? I don't think so, because there are also Aborigines, which if you look for differences, they're totally different, so they're not even Negroid. So science is not right about that. There's many different specific different strains. They're different, okay? But when we look for similarities, we can find just as many factors, just as many reasons to say the similarities show that everybody is the same race. Do I make myself clear, or is this like too mystical or philosophical? See, the thing is, I just get the truth. When you look at everybody, it can be proven that, see, we all come from the same race. Pretty much everyone's got a nose and two eyes. Maybe one of them doesn't work, or some there might have been birth defects, whatever. But the vast majority have two eyes, and there's a mouth. And the mouth usually speaks. And there's two ears, and the ears usually hear. Now what goes on in the brain, though, that's where the real differences that we can't seem to get over happen. That's where it happens. The brain is wrong. But everything that we look at in humanity depends on your attitude and your belief system, what you want to go on, what you want to be part of in this world. If you want unity, you're going to see that we're all in one race. And if you want the other thing, you want disunity, you want strife, you want division among races because you don't like anybody else who's slightly different but more the same. Regardless of that, you just want to look at the differences. Then that's what you're going to put out into the world. That's what you're going to inhibit. enhance whatever comes around you. You're going to manifest that. So I go more with the other camp that works for a better world. We imagine it already. That better world of unity, because then we can work together, because we're going based upon our similarities. We're going with our connection. So things like this, with Ferguson, like the news, Ferguson, I thought that was done with already. I thought that was done. Okay, so the family and the friends, condolences to them, they can move on. But then there's this other thing. Well, people want justice. Yeah, I know that. See, but how do you get justice? By playing into this whole trap of the racism. It can't be done. It can't be done. See, if a black person gets killed, you got to see just an equal amount of people of any shade or darkness of skin coming out there to seek justice. You can't just match up the skin color and say, all right, all these people are going to be concerned. You got to have everyone, including and especially the opposites, come out and deal with it for a solution. And when you see that that's not happening, then you know it's being manipulated into that category of division and strife and making more chaos in this American nation and the world. So I already see through this. This is what's going on. Who do we have to say is standing to benefit the most? Politicians, that's for sure. Corrupt politicians. So I don't want to see violence in particular, but I'm also a realist. I think there is going to be some more violence and ongoing events and incidents from this one initial starting point. There is going to be, as a realist. Not because the FBI says so, but because they said so. If they said so, they're enhancing that possibility. If the state of Missouri and the governor Nixon is saying state of emergency, and I'm going to use my National Guard here. National Guard is basically like the state condoned militia. If he calls them out and says, I'm going to use all those resources to keep what I call order and peace or whatever, then they're already enhancing it. Does that help? What, is that like the solution? No, it just shows desperation and the lack of harmony that still exists. So who's to blame? Many people on many sides, in fact, all sides of it are to blame. Do I have the solution? No. No, I don't. Sometimes I think it's just like we as a people are just going to see steam vented out. We're just going to see this release of tension. That's what these things are about, is because there is no solution. Things pop up and say, well, why do these things, I thought we had the civil rights movement. I thought we have equal rights. I thought people were advanced. I thought there's no racism. I thought the slaves were set free. I thought everybody got what was coming to them or got what they deserved. I thought that we have America. Look at Obama. He's the president. Oh, my goodness. That must be a sign. No, it's not a sign of anything. We're still in the thick of it because of the way our karma is, because of how we treat each other. And until that ends, we are guaranteed to see more incidents like this every so often, several times a year, at that pace. The powers that be, they want it to start, they will start it. If it doesn't happen on its own, they will enhance it, they will grab it, they will try to use it for their own ends. And then the people at the bottom, the grassroots level, they also have their way of collectively causing something to happen. Because in their ignorance, they only see the continuation of the problem because they're playing a certain role. I'm not playing any roles in this, folks. So if you've listened to me, then you're one step further ahead to getting the truth and being one of the first to accept the new world that's coming after all.